this computer. Okay. Hello, everyone. Things I've done so far. So I cloned the repo down, I bundled, and I ran create, migrate, and seed. And yeah, I think like then my next step was going to the README and kind of like looking around because I did the setup. Um, and then I looked at this, like, okay, I should TDD everything. Model methods and model relationships need a test. And then the description here, I don't know if y'all read this, but like this is like the part that there's a pretty good amount of information for me. It's like, all right, the one-to-many has been set up. I need to create a many-to-many between ingredients and dishes. And I don't need to do model testing for validations, but I do need to do relationship testing. This is nice. This is the plural of dish. Okay. And then what else did I do? Oh, I wanted to look at the schema and just kind of like see where I'm at. So it's like, all right, chefs have dishes. And then I want to say that there is one other thing here. Chefs have many dishes. Dishes belong to a chef. Dishes have many ingredients. And ingredients have many dishes. Okay, so that's my many to many is what it looks like. Dishes have many ingredients. Ingredients have many dishes. Cool. So I might go about this slightly different this time and just like make this model test first so that I can like see if I can set up my relationship right before I do the user test. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to spec models. Oh, I've got some stuff already. Okay. Have many dishes, great. And then validates a presence of something and then should belong to a chef. Okay. So I think at this point, I'll just add the relationships that I want and go from there. So let's see, it should have many, how is that written over here? Let's see. It should have many dishes, and then this will be through a joins table. So how does the syntax work for that? Through what? This will be ingredient dishes. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you like determine? Like, I just did dish ingredients because to me that makes sense. This is like ingredient dishes. Like, how would you say to do that?
I like, so what I said, I'll stick to what I said previously and say like, I think alpha ordering makes the most sense to me. So it's kind of like, yeah, like you said, dish ingredients sounds better than ingredient dishes. And then I don't have to worry about that ES on dishes, like just being a thing. So I think I'll do the same thing and say like, okay, this is going to be dish ingredients. And this doesn't look like it's working right. Okay, that might work. And then it should also have many dish ingredients, right? So switch those. So it should have many dish ingredients, and let's get rid of that. Cool. That feels like a good place to start. Let's run this and see if I can get things going. So RSpec spec models. Wrong number of arguments. I mean, I made that one wrong, but I'll just focus on this one. Have a has many association called dish ingredients. Okay. This makes me think like I have to like pivot a little bit and say like, let's set up ingredient first because I can't have the joins table right before I have my ingredients table. And if I look at my schema, it's like my ingredients table doesn't exist. So let's do that first. Yeah, I'll go here and I'll say this is going to be, what is it called? Ingredient spec. Cool. And I'm going to kind of borrow from like probably something like Dish where it's going to be similar. Cool. So this will be ingredient. And then I don't need either of these. I don't need this. But it should have many dish ingredients. That's true. And then it should have many dishes through dish ingredients. Okay, let's run this. Cool. Uninitialized constant ingredient. Great. I know how to set that up. Models. Where are you? App. Models. Yeah, here. Ingredient.rb. Class ingredient. Inherits from application record. And run it again. Okay. Let's skip this other test that I made for now and just see if we can focus in on the other. Okay, cool. So undefined table, I can see some SQL happening and undefined table. Cool. So I got to make my migration. Let's do a Rails G migration, create ingredients. And now I might need to look at my user stories actually, which I copy and pasted. Story 1 of 3. I'm just going to put them in here.
I think they have a name and calories.
Okay. Cool. So see a list of ingredients. How do you know that they have calories and
from the description? In that big block that you're saying was probably helpful to read. It says that ingredients should have a name and calories.
in the README?
Yeah, under challenge description.
Cool. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yep. That's why it's good to read the whole README. All right. So it's going to have a name and calories. That sounds like an int and a float to me, or an int and a string to me. So I'm going to say name, string, and calories, integer. Cool. Let's check out that file. That looks good to me. Let's run it. Great. Let's look at my schema, make sure things look the way I expect. Cool. So let's run our test again. I'll put the test up, ingredient spec. Cool. Expect an ingredient to have a has-many association called dish ingredients. All right, let's do it. All right, I still get the same error. So dish ingredient does not exist. Got it. All right, let's create that dish ingredient then. That's in my models, dish ingredient dot RB class dish ingredient application record, and go. Same error. Did I spell it wrong? Dish ingredient does not have a ingredient ID foreign key. Okay, so not the same error, a little bit different. Cool. So that to me seems like, all right, I need to maybe see if it'll work like slightly different if I make my belongs to and see if I get a different error, but I don't think I will because of like, it's looking for a foreign key on a table that doesn't even exist. So let's see. Cool, yeah. All right, so I don't have it and it looks like it's not like even picking it up. So, and if I'm going this way, then I'm thinking like, hey, I need to create my dish ingredient table. So I'll see if I can do that. Create dish ingredients, and what is this going to be? References, ingredient, references, references, dish, right?
Migrate or migration?
It needs to be migration. Thanks, Danny. And it tells me could not find generator migrate, so maybe you meant migration. That's that is just a nice helpful thing there.
I love when they're helpful.
I know. All right, create dish ingredients. Let's look at this. Oh, so looks like I screwed this up, right? So this is a good kind of like task for you to see, and it's like, all right, so I know that that's not the right table, and you have some options here. You can create this, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this file and just run it again from the command line, because I don't want to have to go look up like my like the syntax for this, creating the table and references. I'm just going to like change around what I did on the command line, because I can tell that the migration I generated was just switched around. So this will be ingredient and references, and then this will be dish references, I think. This is what I'm hoping. This is the reason I'm choosing this, is because this feels like the least work. Like I screwed it up, but I don't really want to like look up, because I probably would have forgot this foreign key true if I tried to change it around on my own, right? Like I could run into a big mess if I'm trying to like go look up the syntax, because I know what the syntax looks like from the command line. It's harder for me to know what the syntax looks like within this create table method. So this looks right to me, right? So that's why I made that choice. Any questions there?
I think I typed in ingredients at first, and I was like, what in the fuck is going on? And then I figured it out finally.
That actually makes me think I'm doing this, like maybe I'm doing this wrong, honestly.
No, the error that I was getting was like couldn't find ingredient ID. And I was like, there's an ingredients ID right there.
Totally. I think the problem for me is these tables are named plurally. So I'm going to run this, and I'm going to expect that I might get an error. But if it works, great. We'll see. But, oh, okay, it did work.
Yeah, because you want our IDs, I think, to be singular.
That makes sense. Yeah. So these nuances are things that like it's good to at least like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Like, it's okay to make mistakes if you know that like the way to fix it is pretty close to where you are. Like this migration, I don't think would have run if I had it plurally, right? Like that's the area you're talking about, Danny. Like if I had this as ingredients and dishes, I don't think this migration would have run right. Like you get some error and then it's like, all right, what am I doing wrong? Well, these have to be named singularly for the migration, even though the table's plural, right? Which is slightly confusing. I'll be honest. That's confusing, but that's the way that Rails wants it. So,
Hey, Tim, can you go back to the other page? I think you might have spelled ingredients incorrectly. Oh, no, you're good.
okay. This is one of those words in code, right? That you look at for too long and you're like, well, I don't
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So that feels good. Now I don't know what I'm doing from here. So I should probably just run my test. Cool. I've got, looks like one skipped and one that ran. All right. So let's go back to that spec. Don't want to print. Okay. So this worked and this is skipped. And I think I have the syntax just wrong on this, which I might have to just go look up somewhere else. Cool. Yeah, wrong number of arguments. I don't know what's going on there, so I'm going to look at the shoulda docs. Maybe stack. Nope, that's not a good one.
Was that for your model spec?
Yeah. And I'll just search this. It's mini. Or actually, I need the through. So let's do the through as what I'm doing. It should. Come on, where is it? Okay, here we go. Have many dot through. Okay, so it's a dot. And that's like, you know, something I have to go and look up, which is okay. And I think that I will do like this time because that's how the syntax is there. Dot through dish ingredients. Let's see if that runs. It may not, but it may. Or I may get a different error, which would be nice. Cool. No association called dishes. Okay. To have has many association called dishes, no association called dishes. That's good. That's a different error. So at least I set it up right? So let's go to ingredient. Cool. And I have this one, but I don't have this one. I think this is the syntax for this. Dish ingredients, something like that. No, it needs a comma maybe. Yeah. All right, let's give that a shot. Cool. Cool. So could not find the association dish or dishes in model dish ingredient. All right, so I need to go there and see what I've got set up. Cool. That's because I don't have my belongs to. Great. That looks good. Now, just to complete the task, like I want to go set up, just because I'm thinking about it right now, I want to go make sure that dish has this stuff too. And it doesn't, right? So did I put that in my dish spec? Maybe. Yeah, but I have this set up wrong. All right, so I'll TDD this because I have the test already set up. And this will be dot through. And this will be that, right? Oh, forgot my colon. Computers are so picky with how I write my stuff. Oh, wrong spec. All right, so now I'm going to run this model spec and just expect it to tell me what to do for this. Great. Expected dish to have a has many called dish ingredients. No association, no association. All right, so I'm gonna probably just go see if I can fix this now. Has many dish ingredients, cool. And then similarly has many ingredients through dish ingredients. All right, and I feel like that should probably get a test to pass, but if it doesn't, I've got error messages that'll help me. Cool. So this is different than how I went through this. I don't remember what day, or what challenge, but the other challenge I stuck with the feature test, right? But this is another approach that's just as valid. It's like, hey, if you want to focus on tables and like thinking like, if I get my tables right, I'll just have all these methods that I can use in my controllers and my views, and life will be easier. This is also a valid approach, right? Like if you want to focus in on the tables first, I mean, I think that that's totally fine, right? Like it kind of depends. There's multiple paths you can take with this, but I feel good now because I'm like, all right, relationships are done, and now I can move on to whatever the feature is. Questions? Anything coming up for y'all that you want to chat about with this approach? Okay. Let's take a quick break now, and then I'll probably go to 10, 12, 15, if that's all right with y'all. And you don't have to stay for the end of it, but let's take a quick break now and come back at 32.
Hey, Tim, can you show me your ingredient spec and your ingredient.rb real quick?
Yep. The heck's the spec?
Thank you.
Yep. Let's resume. Cool. Now I've got my relationship set up, right? So now it's time to do some feature testing in my mind. So I'm going to go over here to spec, and I'm going to create a directory called features, not feature. Austin, I bet that was fun to debug. And this will be, I think, my...
Really hate to see it.
Yeah, you definitely do. This actually I'm going to say is... I'm going to say features, and then I'm going to say, what is this? The first thing I think is dish, and then I'm going to say show spec, because I think that's the first one. Let's see. Okay, I will open the door for you. All right, so as a visitor, when I visit, all right, so I'm just going to start doing this. Let's require Rails helper. And then let's say describe, and then let's do as a visitor when I visit a show page. Cool. And let's make my it block like, I kind of want these all to go away. Okay. It, and I'm going to make this generic. Sees all of the stories requirements, because I don't want to spend too much time with stuff that I don't think is that important. All right, so let's say first thing I usually do is visit, right? Visit, and this will be like, let's make this double quotes. This will be a dish, and then an ID. So this is going to be like ID here, and then.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that, like where we are now in the mod, that we start to practice using like resource versus a hand roll, or for the sake of this, let's do a hand roll?
I think for the sake of it, like on a challenge, do whatever one you feel most comfortable with. On the projects, push to resources.
Also, another question, Tim. Are
Yep.
we able to use a Rails-G scaffold?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it gives you too much.
Yeah, I figured.
I want y'all to be typing that stuff out for now, and that's like you'll be able to use scaffold in 3 if you like get through 2 and like understand, how all the pieces are working together.
Gotcha.
Cool. So just typing this makes me think like, shit, I need a dish, I need a chef. So let me go check my seeds file and see if that's already there for me. It's not, which you definitely hate to see. So I'm gonna have to like create all of this stuff on the fly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to have my schema up, otherwise I won't be able to like remember what all the relationships are. So yeah, let's see, schema. Let's put the schema over here, and then I can like think about like how I create everything else. All right, so I think that the first thing I'm gonna need is a before each. And all right, and the first thing I'm gonna do is create a chef, because I remember dishes belong to a chef, so I need the chef before I can have a dish. Chef dot create, and this will be a name, and it'll be Tim. Cool. And then my next thing that I want is a dish, right? Dish is gonna be, dish has some stuff. So dish dot create, or actually we could do at chef dot dishes dot create, and then we'll do name is pasta, and then description good, and yeah, the chef ID should come by default. Cool. And then what else do I need for this story? See a list of ingredients for that dish. Okay, so I can do a dish dot ingredients dot create. And now in my ingredient has name and calories. So name is gonna be yeast. Does pasta have yeast, or am I just making that up? I don't know. And then calories, yeah, calories. Let's make it a nice whole number, 10. And then let's say salt and 20. So I've got 2 ingredients, right? Got a dish, and now I'm gonna try to make this actually run. Dish ID. All right, let's just run this right now, just to see if I like created this stuff right, or if I like screwed something up in the creating. Oh, I'm running the wrong thing. Spec features. Cool, I get the routing error, which means that I created everything, hopefully, correct here. So I think like I might just like go fix this, like for now, like go follow my errors, because I know I've got some. So let's go to the routes. Let's look at my error message next to it. Cool. All right, so no route matches, get dish. I'm gonna do the resources way because that feels easiest to me. Resources for a dish, or is it dishes? I can't remember. I think it's dishes, comma, only show. And now that I've got those right, I can do it. Cool. All right. Let's run that and hope that things worked. Nope. What did I do wrong here? Maybe it's dish.
I use dishes.
Yeah. Interesting. So it wants it to be singular here. Uninitialized constraint dish controller.
Tim, doesn't that need to be plural? And then when you call it, in your visit, shouldn't that be visit dishes / dish ID?
I think so. Oh, that's why. Yeah, you're right. So I set up my visit wrong. And now it's like I could have gone down a very bad path here. So yeah, thanks for that. I know you guys don't have crowdsourcing, so I kind of don't like it when I get an answer from the crowd that I hadn't figured out yet. But like, what I'll say is, yeah, if you go down this path, then eventually, here's what you got. Here's why I knew this was wrong. Basically, by looking at it, and I was giving myself pause, is because I know I never name this singularly. I always say dishes controller here. So that was like the thing to me where I'm like, all right, something's wrong. I'm not doing something right. And what it was, I set up my test wrong, right? So then everything from that point is going to be messed up if I'm trying to visit the wrong route. So this now will give me very similar error, right? But it'll be dishes controller, which based on like pattern recognition, like I know is like, all right, now I'm on the right path. So thanks for pointing that out, Garrett. All right, so let's make that. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to create this action. And I'm going to probably create the view too, so I can move on from, I should get like not a passing test, I don't want to say, but I'll have a, I'll have, what am I trying to say? I'll have a test that at least like runs, I think, after this. Dishes, and then this is a show.html.erb. All right, so I think I should like I should be able to visit this page now, is what I expect. Yeah, cool. One example runs, but I don't actually have any like tests in it. So let's go back to my spec, show spec. Cool, so I got through this part. So I see the dish's name and description. All right, so expect page to have content at dish dot name, right? Cool. And then description. And then what else does it want? I list all ingredients. Okay. So then I think I'm going to set up my loop here. Gosh, I can't type today. Dish.ingredients dot each do ingredient, and then I'll expect my page. Doesn't specify, it just says I have a list of ingredients, so I'm just going to say to have content dish dot or ingredient dot name. And I could, you know what, I'm going to put the calories there too, because it's not that hard. And then I see the chef's name, and then, okay, so this will be similar to this. Dish dot chef dot name. Cool. Now that feels pretty good to me. That feels like I've got everything that it expects now in my test. So now I'll just let the test guide me. No pasta. That's what I expected. It looks like we're on a good path. And this is going to be what? I have one dish. So H1 is going to be dish.name. And then what else? We'll say H2 is dish.description. And then here I need to iterate on ingredients. And I'm kind of like, yeah, doing this not totally TDD, but I know what I just typed what I want, so I'm kind of feeling good, like I can go tell it what I'm gonna do. All right, let's end this, and then in here we'll do some p tags, and this will be actually shown. So it would be ingredient dot name, and then ingredient dot calories. And then I've got one more thing. It'll be like another H2 maybe, and like chef name, and then this, and this will be at dish.chef.name. Cool. Now if I run this, I should probably get an error on the nil. I don't think I've passed anything. Templates error. Yeah, I can't call it for nil class. I'm surprised. Oh, you know what? Look, I'm surprised this hit first, but that shows me I screwed this up, right? This needs to be in here. Similarly, okay, now I should get the correct error, which is like nil class of name. Yeah, undefined method name for nil class. So now if I go back to my controller here, I know what I need to do here, and it's like pass the instance variable to the view. And how do I find that instance variable? It's through params, and it's through the ID. And I get that ID, remember, from this. Comes over as a dynamic value that I also defined. Well, it got defined under the hood when I did the show, because a show will expect it to be dishes / :ID. All right. Yay, one thing worked. All right, on to the next. Or actually, before this, any questions about any of it?
I put mine in an unordered list just because I guess I just assumed that it said a list of. Is that something to pay attention to, or just preference?
I think yes, that's something to pay attention to in projects, right? Like but we don't care about the layout of the page in this challenge, right? We're never running the server, we're never like looking at it on the page. We just want to set up our test right and make sure that those things do show up on the page. But the layout doesn't matter here. So that's where I'll say like HTML elements that you choose don't matter here, but like you should have some HTML elements on the page, right? Like I've got some P's and some H's, some H1 and H2.
Hey, Tim, do you mind going back to the show page?
I do not.
Oh, I'm sorry. The show HTML ERB.
Yeah, that's that's over here on the left.
Oh, that's right there. Whoops.
Yep, you're good.
Cool. Thank you.
For sure. All right, I'm gonna move on to number 3. And it looks like when I visit a dish's show page, oh, this is nice. I see the total calorie count for that dish. This feels like I can make a new, I might just leave this in here. I mean, yeah. So I'll say expects page to have content dish dot total calories, right? This is what I'm gonna like call this, if I can spell. And yeah, let's run that. Cool, undefined method total calories, that's what I expect. And let's go into my dish model. Let's make that method. And let's pry in here and see if I can run a query that works. All right, so I'm in my pry, and what do I want to do here? I want to see ingredients, right? Because ingredients have the calories. oops, so it would be self.ingredients. Cool. And then can I just do like a sum calories? Is that gonna work? Bada bing, bada boom. That feels good. So let's get that in there. And you know what I could also do? I don't think I actually need this self, and I'll try that here because I'm already like self is like implied on the instance method that I'm within an instance of dish. So yeah, I just have ingredients here. So I'll take that out and I can just call it like this. And now since I'm already here, I think I'll probably just like do it and say like this can be an H3 and this will be total calories, and then at dish dot total calories. And then yeah, let's bring back up my show spec, and I think this should just run. We'll see, but that feels like a user story that took the amount of time I hope they all take, but we'll see. Yeah, okay, cool. So I've got it now. And what do I need to do from here? Any ideas?
You need to put it in a model test.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go to my dish spec and I'm going to describe instance methods. And I'll probably just do this kind of like not with a should've, and I'll say it should calculate total calories for all of its ingredients. And then now I'm going to go back to my show spec because I already defined all of my, right, like all of my objects over here. So I'm just going to reuse those, and they don't need to be instance methods. So I'll just command control G this, and I'll change them to be local to this test. But then I should write an expectation like expect, and then this will be dish dot total calories dot to equal 30. And let's run that. Cool. That feels good. And now I've got my testing done for that. And let's go on to number 3. Questions on this? This felt, I mean, I definitely went through this quick, but this felt like when I saw it, I was like, this feels like one that I can tackle like fairly quickly based on the active record methods I already have, based on the relationships I've already set up, and yeah, what it was asking for.
Just want to review the dish model quickly.
Yep. So each of my dish objects, when created, will have this method, it will have this method, it will have this method. So I'm just using one of those methods here to get all the ingredients associated with my one dish. And then based on that, now I can sum this column that came back.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Cool. Other questions? Okay. Where are my stories? Great. 2 of 3 are done. And now when I visit a chef's show page, all right, so this looks like, just based on that, as a visitor, when I visit a chef's show page, I know what I need to create in terms of like directories and files. So I'm going to go do that. Features, this is going to be chef, and then this is going to be show spec for the chef. Cool. And I'll probably grab at least my setup here for this feature test, and then need to do my ends. Okay, cool. And then from here, the only thing I really need to change is chef. This is going to be a chef's show page, right? And then let's copy in my story. Okay, so let's do that. This is an it block. Show page is good enough for me. And then let's visit. Visit. This is going to be chefs. And then, oh, you all need to be, this needs to be this, because I need to interpolate. And then this will be at chef.id. Cool. And this feels like a good place to start, right? If I just want to like keep complexity low, then I can do this. And this is the chef and show. Oh, I think I added a character. Oh, God. Cool. Doesn't have this route. Makes sense. So let's go create it. And this looks like a Command-C, Command-V to me. And I just need to like change one thing, which is chefs. Run it. Cool. No chefs controller. Let's go create that over here. And I'm just going to do my thing that I know I need to do. Show, and then create that view. It's going to be, not what I want. I want this. Chefs and show.html.erb. And now when I run my, gotta save that file. And now when I run my test, gosh, what? This should just run well, but I haven't set up any expectations. So, but I feel good about that, right? I'm getting there. That's all part of the process. So let's go back to my show spec for chef and see what the rest of the story says. That's all good. Okay. Expect page to have content. Looks like chef.name. I see a link to view a list of all ingredients that this chef uses in their dishes. Okay, so now looks like I'm gonna have to do a at chef.dishes.each do dish, and then this is going to be dish.ingredients.each do ingredient, and then this is going to be my expectation. So I'm just going to copy it from here and change it up a little bit. Oh, didn't get it. Okay. This is going to be ingredient.name. All right, so I just did a lot there, so we could break it down, but this is some nested iteration. I know a chef, if I look at my chef model, I know a chef has many dishes, right? And that's going to give me an array. And then if I want to get onto actual dish objects, I'm going to have to iterate on that. I know a dish has many ingredients, so once I'm on a dish object, I'm going to have to iterate on that. And now I want to see every ingredient here that a chef has. So that's my expectation. Questions?
Did you also have like an expect page to have link, like view ingredients?
Ooh, you know what it is? A link to view a list of all ingredients. So I set this up incorrectly, is what I'll say. I don't need this to be happening here. I need a link that goes to an ingredients index page is what it looks like to me that is associated with this chef. Yeah, that's what I need to do. So chef's ingredient index page, and I can see a unique list of names of all ingredients that this chef uses. Okay, so I can have this. I think I want this at some point, so I'm gonna uncomment it, or I'm gonna comment it, and now I'm just gonna say click link. Is that what it is?
Would you want to expect the page to have a link first before you're able to click it?
Yeah, I can do that. To have link. Yep. Lab link, and this is going to be ingredients. So at this point, I kind of feel like I've got enough on my expectations list where I'm going to start running this because I've got a lot of work to do that I know I need to do. So I'm going to start running it. Let's see what I've got wrong. Cool. I don't have the chef name and I don't have the link. So I'm going to go over to this show page. This is going to be an H1. It's going to be chef.name. And then this is going to be a link to. And this is going to be ingredients. And this will be just like that for now. Let's see what that gives me as a failure. Cool, and define method, so I don't have my chef yet. This needs to be in the controller. Yep, so let's pass my instance variable chef.find params ID. Cool. Oh. Okay. So I guess I clicked the link and I didn't set up an expectation here, which I should do. So expect, what is it, path, I think, right? .to equal, and this is going to be like nested ingredients, I feel like, a chef's nested ingredients. So it'll be like chef's ID, and then what else? And then ingredients, I want to say. Something like that. But now I have to actually make it a string and make this powerful. At chef.id. This feels like it needs to be a nested resource.
I think it's current
Current path.
Yeah, current underscore.
Cool. Expected this path, got this one. So it looks like I have some work to do with my link, right? Show. Yep. Cool, link to ingredients. And this is gonna be now, I'm just gonna like actually type this out and say, this is gonna be linked to chefs slash at chef.id, and then I need another slash. But I think that like how I need to write it is this is still need to be ingredients, and then this needs to be like my path helper, I think, which I can specify like that. Let's see if that works. Cool. Expected it to be that, still going here. So I never like this click on looks like it's not happening, basically, is what I'm seeing. And so I need to do some looking up on the internet.
Is it also because you set up your path to only go to a show page and now you're trying to go to an index page through the show page?
I should be able to do that. I should basically anywhere on my application be able to go anywhere else based on my links. Cool. So I need to get a link to nested resource. Yup, that looks like what I want. Great. So I'm going to pass it user and then ingredients in an array, or I'm going to pass it in an array at chef and then ingredients is my colon. So let's do that. Cool. And this needs to be chef. And I think my click link is not working, so I might go to click on. Does that like sound right as like a thing to do? I'm gonna see. Ooh, chef post pass, so that clearly shows me that undefined method chef post pass. Great, so this doesn't need to be post, this needs to be ingredients. So at least like my clicking looks like it's working. Oh, now I get something different. Okay, no, undefined method chef ingredients path. Does it tell me where I should try to define this? No. Okay.
Nested route.
Yeah, I know that's where I need to define it is in the routes file, but I was hoping maybe it would like the error message would be nice and show me that. So if I want to do this, I can do a do here. And then I'll do a resources ingredients only index and see if that creates my helper that I want. Woohoo! It worked! So this is some syntax you get with resources you may or may not have tried to use in this challenge, but you get a do when you need the nested. If you need it nested, anytime you declare it with resources, you can do your do, and then whatever your resource is called, you need to call it here, and then you also get your only and except and as syntax if you want it. And so in this case, I'm saying like, hey, I don't need anything except the index. And if I want to check the routes, right, I can do that. Routes, Rails routes. Ugh. And if I look at this, I get the path helper. It's indeed a get exactly how I wanted it to be and how I set it up in my test. And the beauty of using resources, right, is it already included my chef ingredients path helper, which is what I needed from this error up here that said, hey, you don't have a chef ingredients path yet. So when I created my route, I'm going too fast. I don't have this method is what it gave me before when I tried to create this link here with this special syntax, which is pass an array with your object, which is currently in my view, my chef, and then the nested resource as it looks like a symbol in an array. All right, so this is some special Rails helper syntax that you can add in a link, and then that automatically is going to now look for chef ingredients path which I didn't have before, but when I created it over here as a nested resource, I get it for free. When I look at my routes, because of the way I created this route, I get chef ingredients as my prefix, as my helper, right? And remember that all these helpers, the way that we call them in the view or in the controller is by appending :path, which is kind of abstracted away here because of the way in my view that I did this, right? Like this is special syntax that takes the object that is the parent resource, then takes the symbol of the child resource and says, oh, I know what to do from here.
Yeah, I just put in there link to like ingredients, and then I did the chef _ ingredients _ path, and then passed the argument of @chef.
Yeah, and this is totally valid. Chef ingredients, because this is your helper. I got this helper when I get this helper for free when I create the route the way that I did on the left, right? The beauty of resources is it's trying to create as many helpers for you as possible, because this is like Rails convention and the way that they expect things to be set up. So if I run this now, I'll get the same error that I was on, which is routing error, uninitialized constant ingredients controller, which is where it's looking to show these ingredients. So let's run this. Let's just make sure I'm telling the truth. Features. I'll bring it up, my show spec. So I'm getting, I get past this, but when I click on ingredient, or I don't get past this yet, but when I click on ingredients, it's basically saying like, yes, you told me where to go, but there's no ingredients controller. I'm looking for this and I don't see it. So that's what I can go create next. This is gonna be called this. And then let's see what I get here. Undefined method make response for ingredients controller. Not
Yep.
Application.
Yeah, you got to inherit.
Yep, you got to inherit. All these things to remember. Fun, fun, fun. Cool. And it's automatically looking for my index action, which I love. So let's do that. And then what I really want to do from here is throw in a pry and see what my params are, because I'm not sure. I know I'm getting some params based on the way I set up my routes. What I expect to be in here is my chef's ID, really. And that's how I want to get on the ingredients to show here. Cool. And I do have it, and it's called chef ID. It's not called ID because this is the ingredients controller. So if it was ID, it would be an ingredient ID, but it's chef ID. So from this point, I feel pretty good about what I can do, and that I can do it right here in pry, right? I can do a chef.find params chef ID. Okay, so I got my chef. Once I have my chef, then I can do a dot dishes, right? Now I got my dish, but I gotta do some iteration here, right? So what I might do is abstract this out to the chef model now, because this is getting pretty long and I don't want a ton of logic in my controller. So what I might say is I want to call a method here called like, I want to save it to ingredients, and I want to say this is going to be, I'm going to have to find it first, chef.find Rams chef ID. And then from here, I want to call dot ingredients, and I want to get it. I want to get my ingredients here, right? This is what I want. I want a chef's ingredients based on the way that I set things up. So I just want a method that just responds here to my chef object. So I'm gonna TDD this. I'm kind of like dream driving this, right? So now at this point, I expect undefined method ingredients for my chef. Cool, I got it. So now I need to go to my chef object. I need to create this method, right? Ingredients. And now if I pry in right here, I literally get to start right where I left off with my chef object, right? Like I get to start right here now with my chef object, and now I can do a dishes, cool, dishes dot each do, and now I'm doing an each and pry, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, so I'll go write this out in my method, dishes dot each. And actually, didn't I already do this in my test? I don't want to really recreate the wheel here, so I'm going to say this is going to be my show spec. I think this is the one, hopefully. Yeah, look, I've got my iteration that I was planning on doing right here. So I will at least get this part of it. And this is going to be here. This is going to be this. And then I want this to be I actually want this to be probably a query now that I'm looking at it. This doesn't feel good because there's probably an active record way to do this. So now that I'm doing that, I might say dishes dot first, or no, dishes dot joins, maybe ingredients. Cool. Dot pluck name. Cool, I've got some duplicates now. And where's my, go ahead.
Aren't those the dish names rather than the ingredients?
Yeah, they are. So I've got, but it looks like I've got ingredients now, kind of like under the hood. So I need something else besides name as my thing. Like I feel like I could probably do like a joins ingredients. Now I've got some querying to do, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna take more time to figure it out. But this is like, I would rather, like, yes, you could do the each block and get what you wanted there, but at this point we want you to try to like push to the active record querying part of this. So dishes.joins ingredients, cool. And then from here, I'd probably need like a where or like something. I can't think of it. Like maybe like I could do like, let's see if calories exists. Cool, so I've got my ingredients I want right here. The problem is I need to select something. And I think what I can do here is probably like select in here and do some actual SQL. Select, what is this table called? Ingredients dot name as my column here, dot joins, and now maybe I can pluck the name and it'll be the right names. We'll see. Oh no, that's not what I wanted.
Missing a quote?
Yeah, I was, but I like what I did from there was not what I wanted, which is screw up my terminal.
Hey, Tim, are we cool to go and eat lunch real quick?
Totally. Go. You guys have at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I might have done it weird because like in the ingredients controller, under the index, I just did @chef equals chef.findparams chef ID.
Okay.
And I mean, everything ended up working for me, so I didn't even route over to adding a method in the ingredients under chef.
I gotcha. Yeah, I think that this though, like we definitely need a chef. We gotta there's a number of tables, right? We're going chef, dishes, ingredients, and that's like, to me that feels like, all right, get on dishes, then joins ingredients, and then see where we're at from there. So let's see. Let's see if I have my thing. Okay, cool. So I want to make this in quotes. It's still only getting my name, the name of my dishes, unfortunately, even though I have ingredients down there somewhere. So maybe I'll rename this as ing name, and then I'll pluck ing name and see if that works. Nope. Column ing name does not exist. Well, all right, how about this? I'll come up with this query. Y'all don't have to watch me come up with it, but I'll show you what I do from here.
Are you gonna? Can we watch if we want, or do you want to shut down Zoom?
I need to take a break.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tim.
for sure.
Okay.
Other questions, like?
For the calendar, okay, we are doing the whole thing with Jeff instead of.
I just updated it during the challenge just to make sure it's consistent with what is actually happening.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to post this solution in Slack or something, you said, Tim?
I think I recorded it all, hopefully. So I'm going to post the recording, and then I'll post my final query solution here
Right.
In Slack.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Tim.
For sure. Stop sharing. Stop this recording.